Okay, so far we have seen different features of TestNG, but most important feature of TestNG is data provider, guys. So data provider, like you must know how to implement data provider. It's very simple, but you should know that okay, how can we achieve the data driven approach with the help of data providers? Okay, and how to serve the data to the test cases through data providers. So the concept of data provider is always that we have to, whatever the test data is available, right? So we have to send the data through the data providers. So whatever is the benefit is that automatically there is a mechanism. The specific test case will be executed multiple times. The same test case will be executed multiple times with a different set of data, right? So let's say tomorrow I have 10 username, 10 password, and I have to log in. So I have login test case like this. I'll show you. Let's see. A better, instead of login, let's see. I have this contact page is there, right? And number of fields are available, right? And one submit button. This is a submit button. I have to fill this form and click on submit. I have to create, let's say, 100 contacts, right? So for single contact, I'll create one test case, right? For fill contact submission form or something like this, and I'll enter the values over there, and then right, first name, last name, and something like this. And again, so either you have to pass n number of parameters, or you can create 100 test cases. No, we should not do like this, right? So better we do one thing, we use data providers, we maintain some data somewhere in Excel file. So there is an Excel file, let's see. So in Excel file, the data is available over here. Okay, in Excel file, data is available in the form of key and value pair format, right? Key and value pair format, the data is available. This is your Excel file. In this particular Excel file, I have different columns I'll define. This is my, let's see, first name, last name, email ID, phone number, address, okay? And number of data is available. Let's see, 100 rows are available like this. And what I'm gonna do, that one by one, I want that the data should be picked, okay, from the first row, then from the second row, from the third row, fourth row, fifth row, and so on, right? So I want to get the data from row number, okay, second, because data is always available on row number second. The first column is always column, right? On top of that, there is one more row is there, that is column, okay. So but the actual data is available from second position, second row. Now what exactly we will write our code in our Eclipse. So this is our Java code, okay. We will create a method. So we will create this particular method. This method will read the data from here to here, okay. And this is my test case, at the rate test case. My test case name is, let's see, fill contact information, right? And this is the test case. So what exactly this method will do, it will serve the data to this guy. So first time, the first row will be given to this, and it will be given to this. Then second row will be given to this, and then will be given to this. So let's see this method. This is the data provider method, okay. So this is data provider, okay. And this is my at the rate test annotation, and this is at the rate data provider actually, right? The data provider will fetch the data from Excel file, and one by one it will be given to this particular test case, and test case will be executed multiple times. So let's see, I have let's see, 10 rows are there, okay. I have 10 rows are available in this particular Excel file. So this particular test case will be executed 10 times with different set of data. It will be executed 10 times, okay. Now it will be executed 10 times means, so obviously it will generate the report like this. In the report section also, you will see the report and in a very good format. So this is a report, right? In the report also, this particular test case, @test case, this particular test case name is, let's see, context test, will be executed like this: test data 1, then will be executed with test data 2, test data 3, and test data 10, up to 10, like this. So report will be generated like this. I'll show you the report. Okay, so this is the concept of data providers. Always remember a couple of things we have to remember, guys, that in @test I have to create one method, because obviously @test is an annotation. I have to create one method. Let's see, my method name is public void fill context test. If, how many columns are there? If in my Excel sheet I have 4 columns, right? In Excel file I have 4 columns. It's compulsory to define four parameters over here, like this. String parameters. String, let's see, first name, last name, email, address, okay, or maybe phone number. Let's see, 5 parameters are there, string parameters I have to define over here. Okay, this is a method structure. So what exactly it will do? Data provider will read the data from these columns, 5 columns, and these 5 columns value, the first row value will be given to individually to these guys, right? So it will be mapped like this. This first value will be given to this, okay, like this. The second value will be given to, it's one-to-one mapping, like this. Then the third value will be given to email, like this, right? And fourth value will be given to address, and the fifth value, again this particular fifth value will be given to phone number, like this. So it's one-to-one mapping, guys. If you increase the column, let's see, 5 to 6, and if you forgot to include that particular value over here, that parameter, that's why most of the people are asking in my comment section that, okay, in the YouTube channel on this particular video, people are asking that, okay, Naveen, why we are getting such kind of exception that, okay, data mismatch or column mismatch or something like this. You are passing 5 parameters but expecting 6 parameters. Okay, so always remember, it's a very good interview question also. Okay, so what will be the error? What kind of, how will you, what is the reason behind that? How will you resolve it? What is a mapping in data provider? So in data provider, this is the mapping case. Number of parameters you are passing, the same number of different parameters you have to pass in your test case as well. And once these test cases, these parameters are available, then you can use in your program. You are entering first name, last name, and blah blah. Okay, so this is the concept of data provider. Now what we have to do, we have to implement the same thing in the form of, okay, in the form of a code. But one thing we have to remember, that we have to read the data from Excel file. So we have to use APACHE POI API first of all. Okay, APACHE POI API. To APACHE POI API, I'll give you one utility that is called XLS_reader utility. This is a Java code already written. This XLS_reader utility, what exactly? First of all, this is a utility. There are so many methods to read the data from Excel file. Read and write both. You can read the data, cell value, okay. You can read the data, okay, like, in a different format you can write the data. But today I'm not going to cover XLS_reader. I'm going to cover in this part, especially for reading the data from Excel file. I have created one special method. You just need to use that method. Okay, but I'll teach you what is APACHE POI API, how to achieve data-driven approach and such kind of thing with respect to APACHE POI API. But today I'm going to cover very robust method, and you have to use the same method to read the data row by row, column by column from Excel file. Okay, in your every project you can use the same data provider method. Okay, so Let's do it. So first of all, we have to deal the data with the Excel files and all. So what we have to do, that we have to add all the Apache POI API, okay, Apache POI API, because if you want to read the data from Excel file, we have to add all the dependency of Apache POI API, okay, in your pom.xml file. So how to add that? Simple. I'll go to my pom.xml file, where it is. Okay. So this is not the Maven project. So now we have to move it to the this particular project. We delete this class. Okay. So Selenium practice. I'll do one thing. This is my pom.xml file. Okay. Currently we don't have any Apache POI API dependency over here. So we have to add a dependency for Apache POI API. And Apache POI API dependency, we have to add the latest dependency. Let me give it to you guys. From our page object model, we can take it. And you can save in your some notepad file or something. Okay, it's because whenever you have to deal with the Apache POI API, you have to use. So let me. This is TestNG, yeah, from here. So in Apache POI API, it's not like only one dependency. There are multiple dependency. So that's why always store somewhere in your notepad or some file, so that see all these are Apache POI. So many APIs with respect to Apache POI. See till here. I'll just copy and then paste it over here and then save it. So the moment you save it, it will be generated over here. Sorry, not here. In Maven dependencies, see all the Apache POI is available. POI is available. So always remember that. In fact, I don't remember how many, around 8 to 9 APIs are there. If you don't have Maven project, you have to add individually every time. This is the biggest headache, because there are so many APIs are there, and you have to take care about the versioning also. The latest version, sometimes the version mismatch is there, something like that. So better you just store somewhere in your notepad file, and then just always whenever you are using in a new project, just copy paste all these dependency. In fact, I pasted these dependencies on my Facebook page also. Okay, you can pick it from there also. So these are the dependencies I have already added, and what I'm gonna do. So dependency work is done. Let me close it, and let me close this also. I'll create a package. Guys, data provider is easy, but most of the people, they do a lot of mistakes in data providers. Okay, so always remember that whenever you are working with data providers, couple of things you have to remember. Okay, so let's say I'm going to create a package, TestNG data, TestNG data. Let's see. Click on finish, and then copy this thing and create a class. Let's see what I'm gonna do. That we will pass different username and different passwords. Simple approach we will take, because we have to reach at contacts page, and then we have to enter a number of values. So many things we have to perform. So better we do one thing, that on freecrm.com we have this is my freecrm.com. Let's say I want to add 10 username, 10 password, and clicking on login button again and again. Okay, although we don't have 10 username, 10 passwords, but I want to do the data driven testing, okay, with this particular feature. So let's see how to do that. So login test, don't select the main method, click on finish. quickly I'll create the basic structure, @before method, and public void setup method, and I initialize my WebDriver like this, and I have to add a TestNG library also, import it from TestNG. Okay, and I'll do one thing from Selenium practice. I'll take that basic code, Chrome driver freecrm.com. Okay, so this driver I've already initialized like this, and driver dot. Okay, Chrome driver I'm launching, and all the prerequisites quickly. Driver dot manage dot timeouts dot page load timeout. Let's see, 20 seconds. Time unit dot seconds. Okay, and then driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait also have written time unit dot seconds, and driver dot manage dot delete all the cookies, and driver dot manage dot window dot maximize also I'm using, and then I'm launching my URL. Perfectly fine, and then I'll define my @after test after method, public void clear down, and simple and write driver dot quit, right, and @test annotation is there, public void, let's see, my method name is login test. Okay guys, login test, and import this @test. For login test we have this thing, the login button, clicking on this till here, this is the code, and I'll copy paste over here. Let me remove these comments. Okay, so this is for username, password, but right now I'm using hard-coded values, so I don't want to use that because I want to pass different parameters. So till here I have written like this, and what I'm going to do quickly, I'll create, okay, I'll first I'll create one Excel file. Let me create one Excel file. So I'll just open one Excel. Create a blank workbook, and what I need username and password, two data. So this is a workbook, and I can have number of worksheets. In a single workbook, I can have multiple worksheets, and always give the proper sheet name. Let's see, my sheet name is login. This is my sheet name, and what are the different data you want? I want username and password, right? Username and password. So let's see, my first username is so I don't want to enter Naveen K and the actual username password, because the moment I click on login, okay, it will log into the system. So again we have to log out. So better we do one thing, we will enter wrong username, wrong passwords, because we are doing negative testing. Let's see, so I'm passing, let's see, Naveen test, let's see, FC, password is test, let's see, Sharmi. We will write all our names, okay, Akbar, password is test, and Manjula, let me remember the names. Then we have Sri Lakshmi, then we have test. Who else? Pravesh, and then test, and then we have Anisha also, and then test, and Kunjan also we have, and then test. Right? I covered all of you, right? Felix, how can I forget Felix? Test. Okay. So I think yeah. So I have 2 to 11. Okay, 2 to 11 number of rows are there, and first row is always column values, username and password. So I'll make it in bold so that we can understand, and you can make it bold and color and everything, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's see properly. Border we have defined. This is my data. Okay, I'll save it now. Let me save into my on my desktop. So desktop, login, test data on my desktop, and save it. And what I'll do, I'll go to my desktop, login test data. I'll just right click, copy login test data. I'll go to my Eclipse, and I'll do one thing. src main java, right click, new, and package. I'll create a new package. Let's see, my package name is test data package. Inside this test data package, right click, and then simple paste your Excel file. So the test data is available in this particular Excel file, and I'll cross verify. I'll just quit this Excel file and open it from here. The same Excel file should be open. Okay, so same Excel file is getting opened now. Perfect. So far we have written this particular Excel file, and we know that 2 rows are there. Okay, 2 columns are there, username and password, and number of rows are 11, but actual data is getting started from row number 2 to 11. Okay, so as I told you, according to the diagram, that number of columns and number of parameters should be same. So right now I have 2 columns, but here we have 0 parameter. So I have to pass 2 different parameters. So let's see, string username comma string password. So number of columns, 2 columns, username password. I have to define same username password over here. Now it doesn't matter that, okay, if you're writing the same username, you can write email password, you can write pwd or whatever you want to write. You can write any name. Okay, because this username password is different and this username password is different, but it's one-to-one mapping. This username will be given to this password will be given to this, right? So I have given these two, okay, values over here. Now what we have to do, I have to remove first of all these hard-coded values. So the actual value I'm passing from here, username and password. Okay, username and password I have added like this. Now the only thing is pending, that is my data provider. So what I'll do, inside my TestNG class only, I have to create one data provider method. So let's see, at the rate data provider is the annotation, and public void, I have to create a data provider method. So for data provider method, always remember public void. Let's see, my you can give any method name. Let's see, get login data. Get login data is the method name, but get login data will read this data from the Excel file. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'll create one utility. Okay, this particular utility will be applicable for all the Excel files, all the data providers. So I should not write my actual data provider logic, actual fetching the data from Excel file logic over here. It should be a common utility, right? So I'll do one thing, I'll create one more package quickly. Let's say my util package is there. Inside this util package, I'll go to new, I'll create a class. My class name is, let's see, test util. In this particular test util, I'll create a method. Okay, that method name is public. This is the static method so that I can call directly by class name. Public static get test data. Okay, and I want from which sheet you want to fetch the data. So I pass one parameter, sheet name, that it's a login sheet. I'm talking about this particular sheet. This particular sheet, it's a login sheet or some other sheet. Okay, cool. So now what I'm gonna do is public static. Let's see, this is a void method. I'll tell you later on. We will convert this void into, sorry. Now I have to, what I have to do, guys. So no need to first of all remember this code first of all. Okay, nobody is going to ask that how will you fetch the data from Excel file through Apache POI API. This is the standard method you have to use, but you have to remember one thing, that okay, this method should return two-dimension object array instead of void. Okay, so what we have to do, because we have to create a lot of file input stream and workbook factory, and we have to create the sheet object, and then we have to pass the sheet object name, then we have to write the logic with the help of for loop, and then we have to fetch the data. So this is Apache POI API code. Okay, 99% cases people won't ask you that okay, write the Apache POI API code. And in fact, nobody, like, I mean, they cannot ask, because this is a, I cannot write how exactly, okay, tell me that okay, how exactly TestNG internally working, write the TestNG code. It's inside the @test annotation. This is something like different thing, because I mean, no one expects such kind of answers from you, that okay, you are actually writing the Apache POI API code. Okay, so better you can say that yes, I'm using, because it's a huge API. There are so many, around 10 to 10 dependent 8 to 10 dependencies are there, and it's a huge API. And obviously that I cannot write the code because I don't remember. But yeah, like it's a simple that, but we know the logic how exactly we have to fetch. So what I'm gonna do, that I have that code with me. Just a minute. Hmm. Just a minute. Don't worry. I'll explain what exactly I'm doing. Okay. So only one error is there. Return data. So, okay, fine. So this is the method name, guys, that I'm passing the sheet name. Okay. While calling this method, we will pass the sheet name, and we have this file input stream class. Okay. Object we have to create, and we have to pass where exactly your sheet file, where exactly the Excel file is available. So we have to give the path. So my Excel file is available over here. That XLS file. Right click, go to properties, and copy this location and symbol, paste it over here. So this is the variable I have created at the global level. That yeah. Okay, this is my data. I mean, test data sheet is available, test data sheet path, and I'm using this variable over here. This is the global variable. Okay, string global variable. And once it will make the connection with the file, then I'm creating the book object. Workbook factory is coming from Apache POI API, guys. You can see that Apache POI API, workbook factory. Now I'm not going to tell you what is workbook factory and all those things, because this is not our business. Okay, we are not going to automate. We are not going to work with Microsoft. That okay, especially in Microsoft Excel project, so that we have to remember. No, this is just a utility, and then we have to use that. Simple. So it will create a file, and then it will get one book object. Okay, or like this workbook object. With this particular object name, we can get sheet method is there. Again, it's coming from Apache POI API. That from workbook. So you have to remember the sequence. No need to write the exact code. First, create the file input stream, pass the Excel file location path over there. Okay, then we have method that okay, workbook factory dot create method. It will create one workbook over there. It will return you one workbook class object like this book. And from this class object, we have method this get sheet method. From which sheet inside this particular workbook, from which sheet you want to fetch the data. So this is called workbook. Okay, I want to get the data from login sheet. So I'll pass the sheet name over here, login get sheet method. It will return one okay sheet class object. In sheet class object, then we have this particular logic that sheet that get last row number and get row from the first row and get last cell number. It will return one of two dimension object array, and I'm iterating this particular okay array and then returning the data. So you don't need to remember this logic. This is a standard logic. Okay, people are using. Okay, row by row, column by column, we are fetching the values. Now it will return the data, and the data, if you see, the data return type is two dimension object array. Why two dimension? Because two dimension means first is for this is for row and this is for column. Okay, so it will be stored like this, just like this. Two dimension means this is the first dimension, this is the second dimension. These are the number of rows, and this is the number of values. Okay, it will be like this. So in our case, it will be, let's see, this is the two dimension object array. So how exactly inside the memory? So simple array, it looks like this, right? In simple array, we have seen guys so many times. Remember array, it will be divided like this. This is single dimension array. But two dimension array means rows and columns like this. It will be stored like this. This is two dimension object array. This is single dimension, this is two dimension object array. Let's see. I want to fetch, I want to, okay, this is again two dimension object array like this. Only for username and password. So in our case, it will be like this, right? Like this. And what I have to do that I have to, let's see, the first username is I have whatever, let's see, Naveen. Naveen will be stored over here like this in two dimension object array, and the value will be test. Okay, it will be like this. So this is representing columns, and this is representing rows. So this is like always index will start from 0. So if you get the coordinate of this particular first cell, the coordinate will be 0 comma 0, right? 0 comma 0. Why? Because this is zeroth row and zeroth column. Zeroth row, zeroth column, and this is first column like this, and this is 1, 2, and 3 like this. So what is the coordinate of this cell? 1 comma 1. This is 1 comma 0. This is 2 comma 0, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 0, 3 comma 1 like this. So to maintain such kind of data structure, we have to use object array, two dimension object array. I'm just giving you okay idea about it, how exactly it will store the data from Excel file to two dimension object array like this. Now so this particular get test data method will return what? It will return two dimension object array, this particular data. So we should remove void. And why this is object array? Because data can be anything. It can be string, it can be double, it can be any kind of data can come, right? So better we store inside the two dimension object array, because data can be any data type. So what I'll do, it will give you the suggestion that okay, change method return type to object array. Now this method is ready. Okay, get test data. Always remember it will return two-dimension object array. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll come over here inside the data provider. Simple. What I have to do? Simple test util dot. Okay, method name is get test data. And what is your sheet name? My sheet name now I have to pass login. Login is my sheet name. So test util dot get test data and login sheet I have to pass. So what exactly get test data? It will come over here login sheet and it will do all these, okay, this particular logic and return data, the complete set of data like this particular set of data, okay, full object dimension array, okay, will be returned and will be given to somewhere. So obviously what is the return type of get test data? It will return object two dimension array, right? So I have to store in object two dimension array only. See object data two dimension array like this, right? And what exactly this method will do, this method we have to write return data. Okay, this method will return data, and again we have to remove this void and what we have to write two dimension object array. Okay, now this method is also done. Now what we have to do, that we have to tell test annotation that okay, you have to fetch the data from some data provider, and there may be different data providers also, okay, in the same class, but we have to specify that okay, from which data provider you are getting the data. So after that bracket simple write data provider is equal to, just simple write the method name get login data. This is your data provider name, and then automatically magic will happen inside. TestNG will see that okay, whenever you are running this particular code, this particular method, test method will be executed, login test. It will see that okay, this is fetching the data from data provider. What is the method name? Get login data. It will come over here. Okay, this is a get login. It will come inside. Okay, this is a utility you have written. It will come over here. It will pass the sheet name. Sheet name is login. It will do all these things. It will fetch data in the form of two dimension object array. Again, it will be given to this particular data, and this method will return data. And then this mechanism will happen. One-to-one mapping. Username will be given to this. Password will be given to this guy. Same thing. Okay, so username will be given to this one by one, password will be given to this. Now the counter will be on first row. Counter will be instead of first row, counter will, because now Excel file role is end, it's done, because from Excel file we have transferred the data into two dimension object array. So all the username password are available over here. So what we have to do, the first time it will point to this particular first row, right? And then your test case will be executed. The first time Naveen and test will be passed, and then it will execute with Naveen and test, and then it will quit the browser. Again, it will launch the browser, and again it will come over here. Now it is pointing to second guy. Let's see, ipc, right? Second user and password is ipc and test. So it will enter username ipc and password is test. It will perform login. Okay, like that you can do that. So let's see. I have it executed so far. Let's see it is working or not. See, okay, this is the kind of practice you have to do. I never execute my code. Okay, and then let's see if we have any error, we will debug it.
Naveen,
Yeah,
Naveen, that means whenever we are running this data provider annotation, means it is traversing from row by row, right?
Hmm.
Means it's not collecting all the data from the Excel sheet um, in the object array. So it's not doing it. Means I'm not getting it. Means how it's
No, 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 no. See,
how
no, no.
how it's
Okay,
work.
I'll explain. I'll explain what exactly this method will do. First time, it will collect all the data from Excel file. So no need to make the connection with Excel file again and again.
Okay.
Okay. So first, if 10 rows are there, one two-dimension object array will be created, and immediately it will be given to two-dimension object.
Okay.
Now the Excel file role is done. The data is available in object array. Now the object
Okay.
array will pass this particular data one by one to test cases. Okay, one
Okay.
by one to test case. So first row will be given to this guy, then second row will be given to this guy, like this. Because
So this
why
okay.
it is happening
So
like
this data provided.
wait. Why it is
Yeah.
happening like this? Because if you are making the connection with Excel file again and again, there are high chances are there that memory leakage will be there. Second thing is that
Right.
chances are there are so many operations you are performing on data provider on Excel file. High chances that Excel file will be corrupted.
Okay.
Okay?
So this data provided annotation, it is means it is executed only once, right? And this iterate test data, it is executing again and again for reading each row in the Excel sheet. Is it like that or
Again, you are saying Excel sheet. No, see,
okay?
Excel sheet
Sorry,
is how we are
sorry,
working from this
object array,
particular
right?
method. Yes, from object array.
Yeah.
So we have created one replica in the form of object array.
Okay.
Wherever the data is available in Excel file, we have stored in this particular two-dimensional object array. And then
Okay.
now this two-dimensional object array will give this data one by one to this guy, login test.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's run this program. Yeah, Pravesh.
Suppose many data there like username, password, mobile number, but I want to take only username and password.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can take it.
Is that like I'll pass only username and password? It will
No,
not
no,
work.
no. Then it will be a problem. Then it will be a problem. Right?
So how to take?
Then you can do one thing, but you have to pass the parameter over here at least. Okay? You have to pass the parameter. You cannot restrict like this. Otherwise, you have to restrict over here that you have to change the logic. You have to create a separate method for that. If you want to ignore third column and fourth column. In that case, I don't need that. So you have to change the logic over here. You have to start k equal to instead of 0, okay, up to the get last cell number. Instead of that, you have to do that. Okay, get cell number minus 2. If your four columns are there, okay, you are dealing with only first two columns only. But this is a bad approach. What we can do, just pass the parameter over here, but don't use those parameters over here. It's up to you. Ultimately, it will make the connection with Excel file and then it will do that. Okay. Your logic should be generic. If you don't want to use that, then don't create those columns in your Excel file. Then. It means then why are you creating those columns? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Naveen, can I see your test util one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So. What we have to do now? Let's run this program and we'll see what happens. Right click on it, run as TestNG. Okay, see Naveen first time entered. Ipsy is entering. Sharmi. Okay, so one by one it will execute. See all the test data one by one. Right. Second time Akbar. Like this. So it's entering all the values, guys, one by one. This is the magic. So you are not writing 10 different test cases for 10 different set of data. This is so cool that okay that let it execute all the for all the things and then will show you the report also. Now it's entering for Pravesh. Okay, Anisha and Felix. usual. Okay. Okay, so I think it's done without any error. All the test cases I think got passed. See, the console, if you see, login test passed with Naveen test, IPSI test, Sharmi test, like this. We are getting the proper single test case. We are getting 10 different test cases. You can see that, okay, total test case is 10. Although I have created only one test case, but now it will be converted into 10 different test cases. And in the TestNG report also, you can see the report like this. Naveen test, IPSI test, for Sharmi, then Akbar, then Manjula, and for all the test cases. Okay, so this is the magic of data provider, guys. It's very simple. You just need to know the sequence. That's it. Most of the people, they do mistake. They don't define these two parameters over here. Now let's see if I don't. Let's see. Somehow we have defined 10 parameters, and I'm defining only 9 parameters. Somehow we forget. Let's see. I don't write over here this, or maybe I'll write some extra parameters. Let's see. String. Let's see what happens. See, giving error. If you see the console, what kind of error? Indexing error is there, and it's saying that declare annotation, some error is there. Okay, so method matcher get confirming argument error is there. So data provider mismatch. See, it's giving this message, data provider mismatch, right? So this is the thing, guys, that you have to always take care about this thing, that otherwise it will be a problem. The number of columns are there in Excel file, number of parameters you have to define in your test case. If 100 columns are there, 100 things you have to create over here. I'll show you some other examples. I'll show you one example that just a minute. See, this is my test case. I'll open this and I'll show you one example. Let's see. See, can you see that? This is the data provider. This is the test annotation. This is the data provider I'm using. Get opportunity data, and see these number of parameters I'm passing into my test case. Around 20 parameters, 25 parameters I'm passing over here. And the same thing in my project also. I'm using the same thing, get opportunity data. I'm passing the sheet name, and this is the sheet name. Actually, I hard coded the value, but the same logic I have written over here. Okay, so see, so you can don't be surprised that, okay, when you join some project and they see that okay, there are so many data providers they have. Okay, it means it's one-to-one mapping always, and always it should be in sequence according to the. Let's see, if you written account number after country name, so account number will be given to country name and country name will be given to account number. It will be like this. So you have to maintain the sequence also. It should be one-to-one mapping always. Okay. So this is about data providers, and so about TestNG. Okay, most of the features are available in TestNG that we have covered.